See, it seems that many times it's difficult for the majority culture to believe that there are biases when we speak about ethnicity, sexuality, gender, race parity. How can there be parity or the belief that we are valued similarly if we are still being perceived and perceiving others as a tired stereotype or as one-dimensional? In this day and age of TV, movies, and social platforms like Instagram and Twitter, media weaves an influential narrative that is often the touch point for a person's first interaction with a new concept or idea. The news, for example. The purpose of the news is to highlight out of the ordinary events, yet if your only interaction with the Muslim faith and community is through the depiction of the heinous actions of terrorists, a natural assumption may be that Muslims equal terrorists. But wouldn't a more plausible assumption be that some extremists become terrorists? Oftentimes, any person from a protected class, whether that be LGBTQ, women, people of color, immigrants, whatever it may be, is default the representative of their entire community, and that is a lot of responsibility. While many other people have never had the burden of living under the shadow of crusaders, colonizers, murderers, internet trolls have come to my social media to blame my relatives for terrorism upon learning that I'm Iranian. Herein lies the problem. Oftentimes, these narratives are supported by fictional stories of characters from hundreds of shows that grace your screen at any moment of the day. Many shows consciously and unconsciously perpetuate stereotypes by creating characters or casting people based on what a few in power seem to deem as believable. So if a black man is always cast as the drug dealer but rarely as the righteous, successful businessman, the conclusion is that it is not believable for a man of color to be inherently good or successful or on the side of righteousness. Good, bad, or indifferent, TV helps define our collective reality. And if a child grows up never seeing themselves representative as successful or as the hero, then they are the anomaly if they succeed and the expectation if they fail. Thank you. And that's why I believe that it is my obligation and all of our human obligations as artists, content creators, painters, musicians, poets, teachers, actors, educators, influencers, dancers, people, you get what I'm getting at, to represent a truer representation of the colorful world that we live in. This is me. That's me. This is me. And, surprise, this is me too. All three drawings, each from talented young artists, are based on the same image, that image, and serve as a perfect and quite literal example of the power of perspective as well as the beauty of embracing different points of view. Have any of you seen Jesse Williams' BET speech? Yes. Well, that should be mandatory viewing. My takeaway was, once we free ourselves from self-imposed branding, we can free those around us from the biases that prohibit us from truly exploring the beauty of human existence. I believe that in order to lessen cultural appropriation, stereotyping, and institutionalized discrimination, we must start the conversation about cultural appreciation that is inclusive of all people on all platforms. As you watch Blackish, and I hope you do watch Blackish, but as you watch Blackish, you are witnessing the constant conversation and work we put into the blossoming and development of my character, Zoe. She is my activism through art. She is an angsty, rebellious teen, entrepreneurial at heart, academically astute, and the thread that ties her family together. One of my favorite Zoe lines being, "I'm cool, plus I'm black, which is cool, so I win twice." This complex, unabashedly proud black teenager may seem like no big deal at first, but it is through my character and characters like her that the barriers of racism, ageism, sexism, and other isms can be broken down. With intentional programming like Grey's Anatomy, Blackish, Transparent, Jane the Virgin, just to name a few, you are witnessing the realization by those in power in Hollywood of the importance of creating characters that are complex and reflective of true human nature. Thank you. I understand that I have no control over what people think of me, and this is not my goal. But I can and will, to the best of my ability, not only represent my cultures, but my generation. And it is more than being sassy in one episode and smart in the other, but in every episode making the point of showing the coexistence of multidimensionality. How can I, a biracial female high schooler, be smart and driven and kind of cute? Well, how can we be here right now together as students, teachers, and entrepreneurs, people that all care about the importance of active volunteerism? Because we are complex in nature and we care about one another, obviously. I believe that Blackish has brought forth a realization that we aren't nearly as different from one another, from our neighbors, from our coworkers, as we may have thought. Beneath everyone's skin, identity, beliefs, and melanin is a human trying to succeed in this crazy world. Art is something that is created with imagination and skill, two things that we all possess no matter who we are. And art can express important ideas or feelings. Activism is defined as a practice that emphasizes direct, vigorous action, especially in support of or opposition to one side of a controversial issue. Art plus activism in any and all forms is a powerful statement that can spread a message that transcends the barriers and limitations of our different realities to reveal the commonality of our shared human existence. In the words of Keith Haring, I don't think art is propaganda. It should be something that liberates the soul, provokes the imagination, and encourages people to go further. It celebrates humanity instead of manipulating it. So let's continue to go further and celebrate together. Thank you. Peace.